I'd like to call the Board of Trustees regular meeting Monday, February 3rd, 2014 to 7:30 to order. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Adoption of agenda. Any additions, deletions, please?
I'd like to add the minutes of Wednesday, January 22nd, 2014 to the approval of the minutes, and you should all have a copy of that.
Should they both say 2014?
1/22/14.
You're specifying them as closed session minutes?
No, those are just for you.
Okay. Any other additions or deletions? I have a question. Are we deleting unfinished business A?
I don't know if we're deleting or if we're just tabling it again.
Yes, I can give a brief report on that when we get to it on the agenda.
Wait, we'll just keep it in play then?
Yes.
No problem, thank you. Anything else?
I make a motion to approve the agenda, adding approval of minutes, January 22nd, 2014.
Support.
Motion by trustee Churchy, supported by trustee Boyd. Any other questions, discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Public comments. Any public comments at this time? No public comments. Approval of minutes, 1/15/2014 and 1/22/2014.
Make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Support.
Motion by trustee Boyd, supported by treasurer Anbacher. Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Sheriff's report. We do not have a sheriff's report. I did contact Sheriff Wickersham. I am going to make arrangements to have a meeting with him. He apologized for the reports not being timely, and the discussion shifted to a quarterly reporting type situation, which he's looking forward to the meeting with me to try and accommodate us that way, so that we're kept up to speed. So that's going to be hopefully scheduled this week, and I'll relay the information to the board. Fire Department report. Chief Boucher, absent.
We're just in the workshop. Denny's on his way to his training session in Lansing, so we asked that we receive and file.
Thank you. EMS report.
Received and filed the report I emailed earlier today.
Thank you. DPW report.
Receive and file as well.
Thank you. Code enforcement report.
Michigan Liquor Control Commission forms have been presented to the clerk's office.
Thank you. Assessing department report. Any questions? No questions? Engineers report.
Receive and file, please.
Thank you, sir. Any questions for Mr. Safe? Does anybody want to, does this want to be publicly read or
I'm sorry?
for the library report? Does this want to be publicly acknowledged, the classes? Okay, fine, just want to make sure. To accommodate users of e-readers, Lenox Township Library staff is offering one-on-one training sessions of our Overdrive program. Overdrive allows readers access to e-published material. Please call the library and schedule an appointment to take advantage of this unique opportunity. Art class for kids is available on Saturday, February 8th at 1:30. We also offer an art class for adults on Saturday, February 22nd at 1:30. Chocolate making is scheduled for Friday, February 14th from 5:30 to 6:30. And it says, come join us, enjoy chocolate and other goodies. Fun with Science, Earth Science will be held Thursday, February 13th at 5 o'clock p.m. An evening of movies and munchies is scheduled for Tuesday, February 11th. Our first run movie will begin at 6 p.m. The adult craft program will be held on Wednesday, February 12th at 5:30. We will be making leather bracelets. All material will be provided. Bring a desire to learn how to create something special. Respectfully, Karen White Owens, Director. If anybody would like the phone number there to contact for more information, 586-749-3430. This Lenox Township Library located at 58976 Main Street, New Haven, Michigan, 48048. Senior Center report.
Jody, did she tell you she didn't have time to put together?
I don't have a copy of it. Did you hear from
I've
him?
got last month's here. I'm not sure if everybody's aware, Luann's son is been ill and in the hospital, and so we need to all keep our thoughts going for them, but also she did not have time, I guess, to get the report together. So I'm sure she'll get it to us.
She's had her hands full.
Yes,
right now.
she's keeping busy, I don't know how she's doing it, but she's keeping the seniors going here, so.
Yeah. Supervisor's report. I'd like to read a Township of Lenox Board of Review announcement. The assessing department will be sending out the 2014 notice of assessment on February 21st, 2014. If you have any questions regarding your 2014 assessment or would like an appointment to meet with the Board of Review, you may call the assessing department after February 21st, 2014 at 586-727-2085. The Lenox Township Board of Review will meet in the Township Municipal Offices located at 63775 Gratiot, Lenox Township on the following days. That's at this location here. March 10th from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. and March 11th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. The purpose is to review assessment rolls of Lenox Township. Matters pertaining of the assessment of property may be brought before the Board of Review. Appointments will be taken until 4 p.m. on Tuesday, March 11, 2014. Appeals by letter will also be accepted if received by 4 p.m. on Tuesday, March 11, 2014. Thank you. Once again, for any other questions regarding that, please contact our assessment department here at the township offices. Treasurer's report.
I'll make a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
Support.
Motion by trustee Churchy, supported by trustee Boyd. Any other question or discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Orders and bills, please.
There was one check added to the list, and that was actually, it's to me for the mini heaters that were ordered. They came in over the weekend, and my charge card has already been, in fact, I've already paid it. The new balance, $170,733.50.
Any
Make
other
a motion
questions?
to approve the orders and bills at a total of $170,733.50.
Support.
Motion by trustee Churchy, supported by trustee Boyd. Any other questions? Deputy clerk, roll call, please.
Churchy?
Aye.
Boyd?
Aye.
Hackenbutker?
Aye.
Keith?
Aye.
Trombley?
Aye. Motion passes. Trustees report. Trustee Churchy, please.
The only thing I wanted to talk about was at the planning commission level where we went over the rec plan our last meeting. Dave walked us through the surveys that were filled out. There weren't very many, but we did get some response. General, a big interest that is showing in all the surveys is people wanting to bring their dogs to the park. Walk the trails and stuff like that. I know when we first talked about making the rules and everything, I was for that, but I can see like the liability and the problems that can affect it. But I just want to convey that the people that did respond, they would like to bring their dogs and walk. We could try it, we could put up, a couple of stands with the bags for them to pick up, or make the rules really strict. It says, it has to be on a leash, only on the trails. I don't know if you guys want to think about it, and, we'll go from there. I mean, it's not spring yet, so not too many people are out there walking, but we don't want people to take advantage of it either and bring their dog and let them run. So that was the thing too, watching police and stuff, but people said, well, they go to Richmond to walk on, they'll go, because if you live on a big parcel of land and you want to exercise your dog, do you walk around your property or what? You walk around the block? No, you can't. That's, like 5 miles. So that was a big issue that was showing up. So think about it and let us know. Thank you.
Thank you. Just to interject too, I believe that was covered, how many years ago, Jeanette? 4?
Right around.
It was approved back 4 years ago because we had an instance where at 5 o'clock, everybody was showing up with dogs and there was no controlling it, there was no enforcement of it. We did state though that they were responsible for cleanup, pet cleanup, and leash laws. But it was open to dogs at that time, I believe. And I believe that was discussed with our township attorney at the time too. Probably could go back and find the minutes. I think we can see where that was addressed.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks.
No problem. But yeah, there was a great need for that and a request for that at that time. And I can say I've had no reports of anything bad happening. Everybody, I think, has been very respectful. Other than I think Cam sometimes might have to deal with some mess out there. But I think for the most part, everybody's pretty decent.
Yeah, the planning commission members were cautious because of, that if there's a baseball game or a soccer game and the parents start bringing their dogs and stuff, which, yeah, everybody says their dog's not going to bite, but it could happen.
Yeah, the
So-
problem we had was not able to enforce it because, like I said, as soon as
Right.
the place would be full of dogs. So,
Right. Okay, appreciate it, whatever you can find on that.
thank you.
Karen, what was the outcome, and I know that we're on a very tight with the rec plan to get it in front of the board. Was that going to be at the March meeting?
Well, it's gonna be the March meeting because it's gotta be done by April 1st or something like that, yeah, so it's really close. The planning commission members are supposed to relook at it again over this next time period just to be sure everything is in there, because even when we looked at it at the meeting, there was just a couple minor things, he didn't change the name of Metro Beach, or it was just little things like that, and we just want to make sure that everything's in there so that we can get it, approved here, so it's ready for the grants.
Okay, so we will need to have a public hearing at the March meeting?
That I have to talk to Dave about. I'm not sure if we have to do that at the board level or what, so But another big thing that was brought up by people was trails, more trails. They want walking trails or connections like we were talking about to Richmond or to the Orchard, to the Orchard Trail, to the New Haven Park, and stuff like that. So those are all things that we are trying to put in our plan.
Just to go off of that too, we do have an opportunity with St. Clair County for our connect from New Baltimore to Richmond, where when the county's portion is funded, our portion will be split by St. Clair County, saving us a ton of money. So hopefully our cost will only be 25% of project if we can make this happen. That would be a great value to our community. But that's still, the county's waiting for funding on that. And that's a pretty big stretch. We're crossing the expressway and things of that nature. So, but we've had meetings, myself and Surmed, with the county, and this is going back, I forget how many years, Surmed, 5-6 years, where this has been in the works. So it's a.
And we
takes a
know
lot
it
of
can
time.
be done if you have been on a trail and took the bridge over Van Dyke Expressway. You probably stand a step, but that sucker goes way up in the air through that covered bridge. So, and I'm sure that was pretty costly, but it goes.
We're fortunate that I think
Yeah.
we are the only community that could benefit from having another county directly on one of our bordering roads where we can split that cost with them. And it won't affect any of our residents' property. It'll be across the street because of the schools lie on that side of the road, and it won't, there won't be any eminent domain of any of our residents' property. So it's.
Yeah, we
it's a
talked
good
about
thing.
the corridors too, like the ITC corridors, we're
Mhm.
using those, so.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Boyd.
Nothing at this time.
Thank you, sir. Clerk's report.
We have 2 elections coming up. We have the Anchor Bay Schools millage on February 25th and the New Haven recall on May 6th. So that's what's taking up our time right now.
Thank you. And sorry to go back, but I just want to mention one thing to the residents too. Please be mindful of the side roads. Once again, today I've seen some more cars. The drifts are so high, they're covering the ditches. If there's no traffic on the road, tend to stay more towards the center of the road because these ditches, they're covered. No one's seen them, so we're having a lot of cars ending up in the ditch due to people trying to stay on the side. So just be mindful of that. Thank you. Okay, need a motion?
Make a motion to receive and file all reports.
Support.
Motion by trustee Turchi, supported by clerk Keith. Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Unfinished business, building department deputy appointment. Attorney Jopik.
Yes, Mr. Supervisor, Township Board members. This item was on your agenda 2 weeks ago at your meeting that you held mid-month. And at that time, we talked about setting up an internal meeting with the MTA and trying to pull together schedules of 6 people or so and making sure we were on the right track with following the board's directive. We weren't able to schedule that meeting yet. We are looking to schedule it next week. We've had some communications today and are trying to coordinate that. And so hopefully we'll hold that meeting internally, then report back to the board on the various issues. There are a few issues that have come up that are related to this, and we're going to discuss all those, report back to the board. And ultimately, some of this does involve board decisions in terms of whether to appoint and who to appoint for various types of deputy positions, whether they be under the property maintenance code or the construction codes, and how to go about that in organizational structure and reporting requirements. So we're going to discuss those, report back to the board, bring back any decisions that need to be made to the board with the report. I'd ask that this be tabled, but I'd ask that it be tabled perhaps to return to the board on or before the meeting in April. That way we don't have to keep bringing this back if there are things that we have to work through before the next board meeting. If the board would be so inclined, that would be my request.
So you would feel comfortable just bypassing March?
Well, not necessarily. If it's ready in March, we bring it back.
On or before.
On or before the meeting in April.
Make a motion that we table the building department deputy appointment until we have further information.
Support.
Thank you. Motion by Clerk Key, supported by Treasurer Anbacher. Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Schedule employee health care workshop. Jeanette? Thank you.
Good evening. Still gathering information. I'll be sending you an email probably this week with the benefits group plans. And then the other ones I still haven't received. I'm hoping to get them shortly. And as soon as I do, I will forward them on to all of you. If we can do a workshop after Karen comes back from her vacation, that will probably be in March. And then
How many vendors total have our information went out to at this time?
I think there was 4.
Okay. Myself personally, I like to see from all 4. I don't know what the rest of the board, but I will contact the ones that we haven't received any and kind of get how much more time they're going to need to.
There's 5.
5?
4 new ones plus the benefits group
Okay.
we've been dealing with.
I would definitely say contact them, because when I talked to Mr. Bomarito, 48 hours, he had me 5 bids.
I know,
So
yeah,
I understand why this is taking
I
so long.
talked to 2 of them last week. I should be hearing something soon. The other 2 I still need to contact.
Yeah, I'd say stay on them, because that doesn't even make sense. If he can do it in 48 hours, why is it taking 2 months for these other places?
The other ones needed a ton of information. They needed an authorization letter, they needed our history, they needed birthdays of everybody that was, hire dates, birth dates. I mean, they needed a ton of stuff. And then everybody had their own form, so I had to type everything out on everybody's own form before it was just a lot of paperwork.
Okay.
Plus, I was working on the policy manual, so I was doing both, so.
And just for information for the board for when we schedule this, there are some Wednesdays coming up that I'm not working. When I'm there this Wednesday, I'll write everything down, because that way if you want to meet like at 3 or something, earlier in
Great.
the day, that way I'll have when I'm, so
Fantastic.
I will check this week. Okay.
I don't know if you want to schedule that now for March,
Well,
or if you want to wait.
why don't we, like you said, you'll find out
When I have
approximately when you're
everything.
going to get them, and then let's issue that information to everybody and find out from Trustee Turchi what her availability are, and we'll coordinate logistically with everybody.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, that way you don't have to wait till 6 o'clock to meet. Maybe we can have the reps come in starting at 2 or 3 or something
Yep.
like that. So,
Excellent.
okay.
Thank you.
Just a heads up on the policy manual. I have sent Laura a hard copy in the mail of all the changes. And there was only I think 3 issues that I didn't put into the policy because it was the stuff on what was it? The drug abuse, stuff like that, testing, internet, which everybody has copies of her policy that she wanted to put in there. So she's got it, and I will be talking to her sometime this week to see, her reviews on that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Make a motion that we table the scheduled employee healthcare workshop.
Support.
Motion by Clerk Key, supported by Trustee Boyd. Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. New business. TJ Enterprises LLC annual renewal for mining permit. Mr. Pudrzak. Good evening, sir.
Evening, Board. Was at the planning commission last week. Mentioned to them that we had a better year this past year than after the previous 8. Things keep going like that, we'll be finished before you guys know it. So, this winter hasn't been good though. It's been an extremely slow start. We tried working 1 week out there, and we had 4 loads go out, so we shut her back down. Typically I have some pictures for you guys, but all you see is a big blanket of white right now. mentioned to the planning commission, and as soon as stuff melts off, I'll get some more pictures of the site and email them to the respective boards, and if they have questions, they can follow up.
Excellent.
What's the time frame now on completion?
I would say 4 to 5 years. It's tough to tell, but by the end of this year, we should be real close to the lake being done. That's just a matter of working around the sides. The sides are a little slower than digging the lake, so that's where we're at right now.
Aaron, was there any concerns in the planning commission hall?
No, we asked Mr. Hybersack a few questions about, the sand. We talked about, because in years past, off of 32 there, the sand would be blowing really bad, because that sand right there is almost like powder. It's really fine. But they've gotten like vegetation over it and got it compacted, so it hasn't, I've noticed it's not as bad. I mean, you used to go down 32, and I go that route every day. You could see like a cloud, but we don't notice that anymore. None of us received any complaints that we know of. We talked about the drains. He said everything's working fine. The new drain that they put in for the south end. Pretty much just kept us like what he said. It had a better year, and they've got to do the fine tuning now.
I've received no code enforcement complaints either. I've not had any complaints.
I just got a question, just out of curiosity. You have a whole list of different types of sand and stuff that you bring out of there?
Yep.
Are you actually bringing different types of sand out, or is this is just curiosity?
We'll mine it out of the ground or pick it up. It goes through a screening plant, and depending on where we're at on the site, we'll screen out some of the coarser material that'll be sold for septic sand. Some of the finer sands we can't sell for the class 2 or the different classes. It's all different gradations. We'll separate the stone, and it's been a while now since we're in the lake. There's not much stone, but we'll bring a crush in once every 2-3 years, crush up some road gravel if we have it, and sell different products that way. So that's what you'll see on their dirty stone. Basically, that's just the raw stone that we don't wash or crush. And some people use it for foundation underneath their pads or whatever. So.
Thank you.
Mr. Safe, you have anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, just a comment. In previous years, I think 3 years ago, the board have decided to waive a certain requirement about verifying the volume of the sand removed.
Yes.
If the board is going to move forward with this year's renewal, I would recommend making sure that you include that in the motion, that no sand volume or survey calculation is required this year also.
Thank you.
That list of yardage you have, that's based right off of our invoices, so everything that was sold. We don't typically invoice ourselves, so we have another list of everything we hauled out. So it's a little different format than years past, but it's the same information, I guess.
Any other questions?
I didn't hear exactly what Sermon said, so I would rather not make the motion.
Make a motion to approve the renewal of a special land use permit for TJ Enterprises. And add in there that no sand volume is required, reporting is required.
Anything other specific to that sermon you'd like to?
Actually, no field verification is required.
Field verifications?
No field verification or field survey is required.
Oh.
Support.
Motion by Trustee Boyd, supported by Treasurer Ottenbacher. Any other questions? Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, sir. 2014 real property assessment change notices of mailing.
Tom was inclined to go with KCI, and that is who he used with the last mailing that he did. And it's a difference of $586 to $562.
When I talked to him, he also said there was some cost that was removed because they do it in-house or something. Is that?
Yeah, you're right.
It's already included.
You're right. The personal one.
I think it was a person, yeah.
Yeah, on
Yeah.
the second page, it's got it highlighted.
And he
What
said-
was nice is he contacted each of us individually, and he made sure that we understood his email and the bids and why he wanted to use what he used. So I know I had a chance to talk to him, and that's when we discussed it. So I was comfortable with KCI.
I'm comfortable with his recommendation also.
And he did use them for the personal property assessment or notices that went out. And I questioned whether he had any problems with it at all, and he said no, there had been no. I'm comfortable with it, but I did suggest that he did talk to each board member so that they understood what was going on.
Okay.
And this price does not include the postage, that'll be separate.
Is it Jody, is it the 1,927.84 that he's looking for?
No, because everything is, unless you said not to exceed or something. Because it's,
The 586 is what
the
we're.
586 is still a little high. And the postage all depends on exactly how many pieces there are to go out.
So how would we approve that without knowing what the cost is going to be with
We
postage?
could say not to exceed 1,900.
Oh, because that's the estimated project cost?
Right.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve for the building department to use KCI at the cost of not to exceed $1,927.84.
Assessing.
Assessing.
Assessing, I'm sorry, what did I say?
Building
Oh,
department.
assessing.
That's okay. Support.
Motion by trustee Board, supported by trustee Turchi. Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries. Any MC Commission advertisement? So request to advertise for two residents to attend the Cable Commission meetings. Also, too, I've been approached by City of Richmond to discuss cable opportunities with them. So I would like the board to have knowledge of that. We can go in any direction here, but we do not have anybody seated on the Cable Commission at this time. I believe it's a $25. It's a $25
Per meeting.
per meeting.
I was on the board once before. I spent about a year on it, and actually I'd be willing to do it again. And if the board's okay with that, and then we would only have to advertise for one.
I would also like to know if the board would like me to talk to the City of Richmond regarding this too.
Okay, talk to the City of Richmond.
They are interested in us having us join them also instead of this group.
Instead of NEMC.
Correct. I did not, I can tell you from the last cable committee meetings, I did not get a favorable report. Their reports, they didn't feel that they had much of a voice, and we are paying a bulk share of that.
City of Richmond, would we have people on that board also?
I have no idea. I've not met with them, I haven't talked to them, but I think that would definitely have to be part of the package to even discuss it. Without representation and us spending our money, I don't think that's a good thing. And it should be equal representation based on the percentage of participation. If we're not getting representation under our percentage of participation, I have a problem with that.
I agree
If
with
we're
that.
paying 75% of a program and we don't get at least 75% of the say, it's an issue.
Okay, so would we want to place an ad for one position, fill the position for the time being on NEMC with Chris, put an ad in the paper for one, approve you going into discussions with the City of Richmond, and Chris plus whoever would come forward being interested would flow from NEMC to the City of Richmond if we went that route.
Sounds good to me.
Was that a motion?
Sounded pretty close to that motion to me.
Support.
Did you get all that?
That's what the tape's for. I'm sorry.
Hopefully it works.
Yes.
The only other thought with that would be, since we don't know what's gonna happen with Richmond, and it doesn't matter to me either way, but maybe just put myself on there, because the person that was willing to go to NEMC might not be willing to go to Richmond for whatever reason. I mean, just throwing that out there.
And then you might not need two, you may only have one, and we've spent the amount for
Advertising.
Okay, so.
That would put
I
one
can-
person on board.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Okay, so I'm gonna amend that.
Why not?
I make a motion to appoint Chris Boyd to the NEMC board. Approve Ron to go into discussions with the City of Richmond. And table the looking for another member until we find out what the future brings.
There's, oh, I'm sorry. I'll go ahead and make the motion. There's a discussion point I want to make too. Thank you.
I made the motion.
Right. Is there support?
Does Chris?
Chris did it before,
Chris,
yeah.
you want to support the amendment?
Support.
Yeah, now you got me. Motion by Clerk Keith, supported by Trustee Boyd. Any question or discussion? The only thing for discussion purposes I'd like to put out is, I do think for someone driving up to Armada, both ways, taking their time, I do think $25 is a little light to have somebody go up there for a few hours and drive their vehicle back and forth. That's not very much money to give somebody to do that.
Yeah, when I was on this board, it's gotta be 10 years, maybe a little longer, it was that much then. So it hasn't gone up at all.
I don't think that's this is why one of the problems we have that people don't stick with it, I think, is that it doesn't pay for them to go back and forth and do all that for that kind of money. And it's not about the money, you can see there for that, but I mean, it should be something fair. So other than that, I think that's something we should consider after that, but any other questions? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. SUMCOG membership. Myself and Jeanette attend supervisors meetings for Macomb County, and the majority of them belong to SUMCOG, and even elected officials I speak to out of area, they tell me the value of SUMCOG, and I always wonder why we're not involved for grant purposes, for learning about projects coming to our area. I did talk to Bob Cannon. He is the supervisor of the largest township in Macomb County, which is the largest one in the state, actually. And Bob sent me an email, and it basically says, I know I've been talking about you about the SEMCOG ever since you were elected supervisory community. It is my opinion, after spending 12 years actively working and attending meetings with the staff and elected officials from the entire southeast Michigan area, that you and your community would benefit greatly from joining and becoming an active participant in this great organization. And basically said, should you need information or a presentation, please do not hesitate to contact himself or Amy Melmer of SEMCOG. We did have a representative of SEMCOG before come out here. Jeanette has got us some information. And I think, did you include the cost in this, Jeanette?
Yeah.
Could you come up to the mic, please?
It's right here, $1,174.
If everybody sees that on the, I think it's the, gosh, it's like seven or 6 page from the back. We're actually, our dues would be second from the lowest to join this organization. But I'm thinking for that amount of money that we should at least try it for a year to see if there's value in it for us, informational value and hopefully some type of monetary value that we could gain from this. For that kind of money, I think it's something that we should be doing.
Well, we were members.
Right.
We were members years ago. I don't remember just what year. And we discontinued it because we just felt there wasn't enough going on, and there was, it was one way to cut corners in that. But no, we did belong to SEMCOG some time ago.
Yeah, we did. We did. I make a motion that we approve membership to SEMCOG for the calendar year 2014 at a cost of $1,174.
Attorney Chapman.
Yes, perhaps before the motion is seconded, I wanted to point out, it looks like there's an agreement that is attached to the membership. And if that's required, the motion should include authority for the clerk and supervisor to execute that agreement and return it to SEMCOG.
Okay.
You also have to appoint a delegate and an alternate. And I looked at the long list of areas who are a member of SEMCOG, and the delegate can be any board member. It's usually either the mayor or the supervisor, but it doesn't have to be. And then someone else on the board or even the building department. It could be a deputy, any one of the deputies.
And these are the only people that can go to the meetings? Is that what that means?
I don't know that.
Well, because my other question was, is this a program that any board member can use, can call and ask questions, and like the MTA, is it similar to that?
I could find that out. Ron?
Sir, I'm sorry.
Yes, I have a little bit of experience with SEMCOG, and I believe that the authorization of a person and a delegate is for voting purposes. Sometimes there are issues that are voted on through SEMCOG. I think that's what that's for. And I can't say 100%, but I'm pretty sure that the township government as a whole gets the benefit of the resources provided by SEMCOG. Almost certain.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
It would make sense.
Yes.
I've heard a lot of positives, and I don't know what your experience has been, positive or negative, but I've heard a lot of positives, and I think for that amount of money, I think we should possibly check it out at least for a year, like we're saying.
I mean, I usually don't comment on policy
Yep.
things, but
I understand.
I have a number of communities that I've represented through the years have been members of SEMCOG. I've never heard anything negative about being a member of SEMCOG.
All right.
There is the cost, of course, and that's a relevant consideration
Sure.
for any community, but as far as services and whatnot.
All of the rights, privileges, duties, and obligations of full membership in council in accordance with the provision. I'd like to add to my motion that the delegate be Supervisor Trombley and the alternate be Trustee Board.
Thank you.
Support.
Motion by Clerk Keith, supported by Trustee Boyd. Any other questions or comments? Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
I'm going to abstain at this time because I don't know enough about what it provides for us.
Okay.
Yes.
Motion
Would I be
carries.
Would I be opposed or would I abstain? Because I'm not,
I think it would be an opposed.
It would be an opposed.
Okay, put opposed then, that's fine.
Just for Deputy Clerk, you got that for?
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
All set?
Yeah, I was just concerned that the approval of the agreement and authority to sign it was not included as part of the motion. I didn't hear it.
Okay.
But if it wasn't, then it needs to be a second motion.
It wasn't in there. I make
I'm
a
sorry.
motion to give the clerk and the supervisor the authority to initiate this document.
To enter into the agreement.
To enter into this agreement.
Yes.
Support.
Motion by Clerk Keith, supported by Trustee Boyd. Any other questions? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Opposed.
Motion carries. Thank you.
I just want you to know that you're making me look like an idiot tonight by stopping.
I'm sorry. When I say intergovernmental agreement, it raises all sorts of technical requirements, so thank you for your patience with me. I'm not
You know what, I can tell you, I appreciate that, but we're, you know what, no matter how long it takes, as long as we get it right the first time, that's, or the second time, as long as it's right in the end, that's what we need to accomplish. So,
I think I was laughing, I know he knows.
Board of Trustee meetings, day and time change discussion. This was brought up, I believe the initial discussion was at the last special meeting where this was discussed. Moving our time from 7:30 meetings to 6 o'clock meetings. And I believe there was a day issue where we might also consider moving the meetings from the first Monday to the first Wednesday due to some conflicts of work. I know myself, my comment will be this, that the biggest complaint that I've got from most residents not attending is they've always complained to me that the meetings are too late at night and that they have to work the next morning. So they do not, by the time they go home and eat, they don't feel like leaving again, to come back out and attend meetings. And not to say that this will change anything, but our other people that work for the township, also some of them don't live close, so it's quite a ride. And tonight's kind of the exception of being a timely meeting. Sometimes these can go very late. When some of us are starting very early in the morning, it's a very long day and a very late day. But my experience has been most of the people that I've talked to, they don't like the meetings running that late at night.
I don't have any problem with making this change, but I do have a couple of suggestions. One is not the first Wednesday of the month. It would be the second Wednesday of the month. And the reason for that is, and this month is a prime example, and changing it by 2 days isn't going to change that. On the bills, 50% of them we don't have yet. Right? Right. A lot of the ones that end at the end of the month, we don't have them by the first meeting. And so then we're scrambling to get these people paid so that they're not waiting a whole month for their pay. It would still mean that we would probably be doing 2 check runs, but it would move what that is. So some of the things that didn't get paid this month because we didn't have the bill is the senior director. You got that today?
Yeah, the gal that does the exercise, we just got that. There's going to be electric bills, there's all.
This would solve all those problems?
Yeah, it would probably solve a lot. That would not interfere with the New Haven meeting because that's the second Tuesday of the month, so we wouldn't be doing something on the same night as them. The other thing I would suggest is 6:30 as opposed to 6. Anyone that works an hour away, it's giving them another half hour. You're shaking your head no. To what? To 6:30 or?
I would say 7 would be better. I get off work at 6. I can't even get back. I only work 25 miles away. I can't get back over this way until more than 6:45.
See, and that's what
It's a
I called
45-minute
it.
drive.
I called a couple of residents today to ask their opinion on what they thought, just for this reason. Because the meetings are for the residents, so we want to do what's best for them.
I see Mr. White standing there too. Is he going to throw a monkey wrench in this?
Yes, he's going to throw
Yeah,
a
it's
wrench.
like that.
I was just gonna, I'm sorry, I just wanted you to be aware that the Richmond Township Board meetings is the second Wednesday of the month, and he cannot be in two places at the same time. And that's probably what you were going to address.
Yeah, I would think, with regards to issues that involve the EMS where I need both boards' approval, it would be challenging to be in two places at the same time. Having said that, at the present time, the Richmond Township Board meets at 7:30. If this board chose to move forward with a 6:30 meeting, I assume I could be here if I was placed early on the agenda and then be there if we coordinated it to be mid or late on their agenda. But I would have to, like I say, split my time between the two boards.
But you one night would have it all done, and you wouldn't have to worry about another.
And that I do see it as an advantage. So I guess if you're going to move to that second Wednesday, the earlier the better would be helpful for the EMS.
Okay, so with that said, my other suggestion is that we do a public hearing on it to see what the consensus is of the residents before we actually make a change. Even sending out a postcard to everyone saying that at the March meeting, we're going to have, a public hearing, or the April meeting, we're going to have a public hearing before we make this type of change so that all the residents are aware of it. And if anyone has a problem, they could email us and let us know that they have a problem with it, or come to that, so that we are very open about, and there's no confusion.
I have one question for the board. What is the earliest everybody can make a meeting on a Monday?
On Monday,
Like say today, what is the earliest everybody can make a meeting?
4 o'clock.
I know some
Yes.
people.
Yeah, I can be here anytime.
It's hard for me to get here between 7 and 7:30. I would have to make special arrangements.
Okay.
But then again, hopefully I'll do another job and won't have to do that, so. But don't base things on me.
I mean, if we're really not going to change the time and stuff, I really wouldn't like any change if that's not going to, if it's not going to be significant change. I don't see any reason to change then. Myself personally, if it's not going to be significant change, I see no reason to change it all then.
Well, if we change to Monday at 6:30, that's a significant, or I'm sorry, Wednesday at 6:30, that's a significant change. And it's starting the meeting an hour earlier, which means everyone is going to be out of here an hour earlier.
It's the first Wednesday,
Second Wednesday.
second Wednesday.
The first Wednesday isn't going to alleviate the bill paying issue.
I would like to hear what more residents have to say, though. I mean, not that we get a lot of people at the meetings, but it is a major change.
I mean, this is pretty much,
Orange ass, we're all
this is pretty much what we get.
Well, that was gonna be my thing, is if we're talking about sending out a postcard to everybody, that's gonna be very expensive.
Yeah, I would.
And we average this crowd,
Yeah.
it's-
I'm just throwing it out there that.
But if we post it, and it's up for a month even, post it now for next month, that gives everybody that comes up here and is involved time to see it. And I just don't know if the cost of sending postcards to everybody is.
What do you
I would
think?
agree with that.
What do you think about some type of, even though I know those are expensive too, something in the paper?
Do you know how much activity we get on our website? How many visitors we get on our website?
I think we might have people commenting that have no intention of attending the meeting, doing that. Like you said, I think the majority of the people who attend are here right now. Mr. Safe.
Yeah, just a small comment. If you want to do it electronically, there's a service called SurveyMonkey. It's surveymonkey.com. You can post a link on your website, and people can go on your website and select. It's like an electronic survey, and you'll get the feedback.
What if we do that for a couple months?
We just did that, that's what we did for the rec camp.
I was gonna say, I thought I saw that.
Yeah, it was Survey Monkey.
Did that work?
Well, that's what she was saying, there wasn't a whole lot.
That's why I
We
kind
had
of,
58 responses.
It's another way to do it. Well,
That's-
58's a lot when you consider
But-
the crowd.
Well,
I mean, I could post it,
Yeah, but
I
that's
could post it on the front
can.
page of the
No,
website,
web-
just saying, you know, if you have concerns about this, please send an email to info@lenoxtwp.org. And I'm saying that to the cable.
As far as putting it in the paper, that's an issue right now too, because not everybody gets the Voice anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
We used to get a whole stack of them in here, and now they're not bringing them here. If you don't send that postcard back saying you want the Voice, people aren't getting it. So that's not gonna hit everybody either. So,
What's everybody else's thoughts?
I like the idea of posting it here, public meeting, and be done with it.
Do a public hearing for next month, or?
That's a month of it being out there.
put some signs up, you mean,
Well, we
and
have the
say,
electronic stuff.
Yeah. I don't,
Yeah. And the website, I mean, the word will get out there to the ones that pay attention to things here.
I did have someone else. Residents, we heard from Vicki. So what you guys, what's your thoughts?
Early the better. I like 6:30. I like 6:30.
You like 6:30 or no?
Personally. Yep.
It's a very different-
you like
That's what I've received from people, the ones that have told me, when they want to talk about things, and I say, you know, come to the meetings, they say, too late for me. That's what I usually get. I don't know if anybody else has got that response, but that's what I get. More than that.
6:30, something like 6:30.
Vicki?
Mrs. Ludeman.
Thank you. I know I attend these meetings a lot, but, I think one of the problems is, like tonight, everything moved along, bang, 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 bang. Everybody seemed to know what they wanted to say, said it, and it was done. As we all know, sometimes it gets quite lengthy in the discussion or the debates that go on. So I watch Chesterfield's meetings, I watch New Baltimore's and all that, sometimes better than comedy. But, their meetings seem to move along pretty much in order. Everybody knows the material, they pretty much know how they're gonna vote, and it's not a lengthy debate. So I think maybe if that kind of happens up here, where our debates don't go on and on and on, that would help shorten some of the meetings too. Just my opinion.
I just know we're not always going to have a short agenda like this, and there's going to be things that are going to take
Right,
long.
and that's what I'm saying, everybody gets ahead of time, they have their material, they read it all. You pretty much, we all know, you make up your mind before the meeting of how you're gonna vote, pretty much, and just go through with it. They move the meetings right along. I don't know.
So you're saying leave it as it is right now, or
I
change?
have no problem, I mean, you know, I'm pretty free, I can get here. I think it's more of what is convenient too for a lot of people. when you can get here, I know you can, and a little tougher on you though, Kim. You know, first you're pretty much available, so,
I work midnight, so
yeah.
I'm
You're
ready by
like me.
10.
I mean, I'm not the right person to say what time, because I'll be, done it for 40 years.
Well, I don't think the
I'll still
concern
be
is,
here.
I don't think the concern is as much the board being able to be here. It's the bills, it'll help
Right.
with that, and
Yeah.
possibly get more residents in here. I don't know, it could backfire, because like Nikki says, I mean,
Yeah.
it could go either way.
Right.
And the bottom line is, we could go back. We could do this for a year and decide it was a bad move and go back.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think moving it maybe so that the bills can be more up to date, you know, in my mind. That was a good point too. So maybe moving it another week.
If we tried it for a year, if we changed the date and the time, the day and the time, and we tried it for a year, if we changed, I think the only thing we should do at that point is change it to 7:30 again, or 7 o'clock, or something like that, not changing the date again, because then it's just confusing.
Well, and I don't think you mentioned, you and I talked earlier, the second, not having it the first Wednesday is, again, we would be falling around an election day. It would be following, there's always that first Tuesday of that month is an election day. That would throw these people, after a full day of an election, having to prepare for a meeting, which,
That way the meeting room
So
for
we
the
had it on
election
that
can be
second.
set up, we don't have to do it at the last minute after the meeting is over.
Actually, how about this? Why don't we table this at this time, and let's check out the dates. If we're talking on a second Wednesday, let's look at all the dates on the calendar schedule. Let's get that information, check the Monday dates, see what holidays come into play, everything, before we make a decision. Let's get all the information, see if there's any other, with our EMS, fire, if there's any other commitments that could impact this, and input about the bills. I like that's an issue. What could be the earliest meeting date regarding the bills, and let's get all the information put together. But as right now, does anybody have a problem up here at a 6:30 start time? These are maybe a couple things we'll put in our
6:30 would be fine.
informational,
For you, if it's on a Wednesday.
Well, I'm thinking about it though, I'd kind of like to see what response we get from different people, because if we switched it to the second Monday, it'll help with the bills and the elections and everything.
No, you
And
have
if
an
we
election
do-
on Tuesday. Remember, your elections are always on Tuesday. So we
Yeah,
should
but
go
they're
back to
usually, aren't they usually the first Tuesday of the month though?
The first Tuesday after the first Monday.
Well, yeah,
So
so,
it could fall.
So it could fall right where maybe she doesn't want it.
Attorney Choppy?
no, it's,
Hate to be the source of an issue, but I cannot make meetings on the second Monday.
okay, never mind that, okay.
And this is what we need to lay out.
Yeah. Or we can keep it with the same, the month, the first Monday.
If
we
we
put
just
it
kept it
in
like this
six-
and went an hour earlier with that, these are options I think we should.
Yeah, because
discuss.
I'm trying to say, if we do set it for like 6:30, I could come right from work. Because now I try to fly home, take a shower, so you don't have
Yeah,
to.
but if we stayed on
So-
Monday, it wouldn't help with the bills.
Don't show.
That's the
Just
only issue.
don't shower, just brush them.
The only good thing is everybody was still, it's very easy to remember, it's the first Monday.
That's what I
And
mean.
it's very
yeah.
easy. And when I'm concerned about going into Wednesdays, what Wednesday is it? It's always easy to say that first Monday.
Yeah,
Very
because I always know it's the first Monday and planning commission is the fourth Monday. So,
But again, that doesn't help with the bills.
yeah, that's
Say
doesn't help.
first Monday, and that's a big reason for doing this. I think
Okay,
it's a
so
good idea to table it and look into
we
it.
should table this until the next meeting, and everybody have a clear idea. Think about it.
Is there something you can put, like, just on the website, or even a sign up at here, contemplating changing meeting day and time, what's your
I think
opinion?
Surmet's,
We've got a lot of taxpayers coming in right now. I could tell the girls
Yeah, ask the
front desk
question.
and that, do a little brief survey, ask them,
Yeah,
while you're paying
informal.
bills, what would you think? A lot of these people don't even come to the meeting, but we'd get an idea of what they want. I can ask the girls to do that.
And I can put some on the website.
I guess-
Yeah, because like I said, if we want to keep it still, even the first Monday, it's not going to help with the bills, but if we move up the time, I'll just come right from Richmond to here instead of going home. So, get us out earlier at night.
Do we have a motion?
No. Make a motion that we table the Board of Trustee meeting date and time change discussion, putting something on the website to see if residents are opposed to it and to check out dates and other conflicts.
Support.
Motion by Clerk Keys, supported by Treasurer Ottenbacher. Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Public comment. Is there any public comment at this time?
Yes. I give everybody their chance.
Please state your name for the record, please.
Mickey Ludeman from Frost Road. I just came up 28 Mile Road, and I know this was brought up at a public meeting a couple of months ago on 28 Mile Road, when the county came through and they put that ditch on one side of the road, okay, which narrowed that area on the road, because if you go down, it is not as wide where they did that. And when you talk to the county, they said, oh no, that's the width of the road. Well, I'm only a dumb woman, but by God, when I look down that road, I can see the narrowing right here. This isn't exactly even, and it's the same on that road. God forbid, right now, we don't have a lot of activity at the Sportsman's Club, sometimes on a Saturday. But come summer, something bad is going to happen, and I know Dave brought it up. And I would just like, maybe Ron, maybe you can talk to somebody.
Even prior to anybody bringing it up, the day they did it, I contacted the road commission, contacted Mr. Hopner. That's why those markers are up, because I contacted him even before anybody said anything. Mr. Merrick contacted after the fact. I told him what I had done. All complaints now regarding any of those roads that are maintained by the county, Mr. Hopner requests that the residents call him directly. He doesn't want us reporting to him anymore. And that's, Jeanette can verify that, because we've had numerous complaints on other issues. He wants the complaints to come straight to him so that he can answer them in a timely manner. That was definitely one thing brought up, and that was one of the things too. Fortunately, we have some markers there that do help.
But right now, Ron, if there were two cars there, they could not make that.
I understand completely.
You know, because of the snow.
As soon as I seen it, I contacted them.
Yeah,
The day they were doing it, I contacted them immediately. I drive that road every day.
Okay, and he says we could just go down there and see him, right? And make the complaint.
You can call him direct on the phone.
I don't like phone calls, I'd rather go.
Go down and see him.
Okay.
Yep.
I will tell him I was here and that.
You know where they're located there on Groesbeck?
Yes, sir, I do.
Across from the Sonic?
You betcha. I will be there.
Right there, side door, go in right at the front desk, ask for him. I would call ahead just to make sure he's there, but he is more than willing to talk to people. I know when they call, so.
Yeah, I may be able to get a couple of residents to go.
Yeah.
And I would point out, Mickey, that the fact that they put the markers there, that's admitting that that road's narrow. Why else would
Exactly,
they put it there?
exactly, and there is nowhere to go. There's the marker and then that's it. You know, so I'm just thinking of a lot of kids this summer and, you know, I don't want to see anything bad happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
Hey, what are you doing?
No other public comment?
Motion to adjourn at 8:40.
Support.
Motion by Trustee Boyd, supported by Treasurer Ottenbacher. Any other questions, discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Meeting adjourned.
But then the road just past that. Right. I don't know. But I said, I'm only